Hello and welcome to round 3 of Grand Prix Boston Worcester. Here we've got Gerard Fabiano on the right of your screen playing against David Brink in M13 sealed. I'm Ben Swartz, joined here in the booth by Ray Punzlon.
Hello, everybody.
There you get a good look at Gerard Fabiano. Looks like play is already underway with David Brink, considering his options, attacked with a Goblin Arsonist, and Gerard plays a Silvercoat Lion to stop the beats temporarily.
Yeah, typically when you see the black-white deck, usually Exalted based.
Yep.
So we'll probably see a lot of that mechanic with Gerard's side. We see that David Brink over there is clearly in blue-red, has a divination in his hand, and he'll lead off with that.
Sporting Han Solo sleeves over there. He's trying to figure out if he wants to attack and trade with the Silvercoat Lion, but decides to just hold the Goblin Arsonist back.
Maybe just hoping just to block instead. See what Gerard has to come up here.
So yeah, will he take the trade? And yep. Yeah, it makes more sense not to attack there because he's trading 1 damage for 2 damage. And Gerard will go ahead and sign in blood himself.
Yeah, his version of his divination.
Dealing himself 2 damage instead of paying an extra mana. Looks like David Brink's hand is a little aggressive. He's got a Welkin turn, Rummaging Goblin, Jace's Phantasm. Looks like he'll jam out Rummaging Goblin and Jace's Phantasm.
A couple welcome turns in his hand too. Looks like that could be coming up next turn.
And a Fairy Invaders if he draws that 5th land.
Go ahead.
Shimmy Inspector.
Nice bright foil Shimmy Inspector there for Gerard. And I couldn't really peek at Gerard's hand, so I'm not sure what kind of other action he has there.
But Welkin turn will come down for David, and he'll pass the turn back. No good attacks, and David, stuck on 4 lands here, definitely wants to cast that Fairy Invaders and the Turn to Slag in his hand. So he's going to want to discard one of his other spells to Rummaging Goblin to try to find that land at the end of Gerard's turn.
Is that the 7 casting cost Sphinx?
Yeah, the Sphinx of Ufo, I want to say. Ufo is a Japanese punk band, but...
I know it's a Sphinx, and I know it costs 7 mana. I know the rest of the name is, even if I saw it in front of me, I probably would get it wrong.
Tough to pronounce, but Murder on the Welkin turn. So Gerard can crash in with that Shimmy Inspector. But David Brink just chooses to chump off his Jace's Phantasm.
Yeah, wanting to protect his Sphinx and the other action in his hands.
There's that 5th land that David needed. Now he needs to make a decision. Does he want to turn to slag the Shimmy Inspector or try to trap Gerard with a Fairy Invaders? I mean, when your opponent leads with 5 mana up after he's been mana screwed, you have to assume he's got something. Yep, but Gerard takes the bait. Does he have another Murder?
Or a pump spell or anything
Public
like that?
Execution if he had another land.
Oh,
nope.
Gerard just loses the Spectre. I feel like that's one of the common cards you kind of realize when your opponent's blue and he passes the turn, he has to have something.
Yeah,
he didn't use his Rummaging Goblin. The switcheroo drawn over there by David.
There's a couple cards like that in this format. There's Public Execution, which is an instant. There's Fairy Invaders. There's Divine Verdict.
David Brink on the aggressive. He just turned to slag. Gerard's creature over there. And Gerard's board's not looking good right now. His hand doesn't look that impressive either.
Looks like Gerard is going to cast Rise from the Grave to bring his 2/3 back. Play a land and pass. That's really not what you want to be doing with Rise from the Grave, though.
Was that really the best choice there? I guess there was nothing really in David's
Shimmy Inspector is the only other thing, but...
I guess Gerard's thinking he's going to need a life from his guy.
Archaeomancer to get back turned to slag. Man, that's not what Gerard wants to see. Is he continues to take 3 damage from that Fairy Invaders.
David Brink's deck's looking real nice right now.
Gerard just drew a Johnny, a Caller of the Pride. The white Planeswalker from M13.
Yeah, just...
Looks like he'll...
Nice card to have. Not going to do too much right now.
Yeah, I believe it's going to die to Fairy Invaders. And Gerard knows that his opponent has the turn to slag, so even giving his creature a +1/+1 counter...
Yeah, it's just not going to do anything.
Doesn't do too much. Yep, so he's going to...
Turn his guy sideways. 3/4 now.
Go ahead.
But that's all he's going to get out of that Johnny. Ooh, and David Brink has a Planeswalker of his own in Jace Memory Adept.
I think most people say that's one of the ideal cards you want to open up.
In Limited, it's awesome, right? Because it's 0 ability, mills 10 cards. It's 1/4 of your opponent's deck. And it, of course, works with Jace's Phantasm if it were still alive on David's side.
You think David might be thinking, oh, I was going to think maybe I'll hold Jace because I'm way ahead anyways. Not even the case. Mill you for 10. I'll learn about 10 more cards.
Yeah. You get to learn about one of my cards. I get to learn about 10 of yours. Wow, Drud has 2 Shimmy Inspectors?
Shimmy Inspector, a Diabolic Revelation, a Searing Spear, Divine Verdict. Some nice little information to have there.
Drud draws another Plains. Does he have something to deal with the Planeswalker?
It's not looking like it. Gerard probably is better off scooping soon and not revealing 10 more cards.
Maybe. I mean, he's got probably 17 cards left, if I had to guess.
He's way behind right now.
He has to get rid of... I mean, he's got a problem with the Fairy Invaders, and he's got a problem with Jace. He has to get rid of both of those cards. And his opponent still has a turn dislag that he knows about.
So Gerard examining in the graveyard, maybe another Rise to the Grave. That's not looking too hot either. So Johnny was knocked down last turn a little bit.
Drud's going to, again, use a Johnny.
Making his guy a 4/5 now.
Archaeomancer will bite the dust. And Guardian Griffin? Griffin Protector?
Griffin Protector.
Yeah.
And a War Priest. Go ahead. Gerard doing the best he can, but with that Jason on the board, it's going to be real rough.
And 7 mana for David Brink allows him to cast his Sphinx, knitting him a Factor Fiction. First, he's going to mill Gerard for 10 cards.
Gerard has 2 cards left.
I can't imagine he can win this game.
So,
Sphinx?
David doesn't even look at the cards that are milled.
Okay, Gerard's going to get in, or David's going to get in first. I presume he's attacking a Johnny.
Yeah, Gerard's thinking I have to get rid of Jace. Got to hit David for 17.
All in 3 turns.
And I can't deck myself. Let's see if I can do this.
Yeah, Fairy Invaders does not die. It's 3/3, blocked by the 2/3. And Sphinx is going to...
That's not the worst case scenario. Because now Gerard learns a little bit about the deck. Now he has to think, what is he splashing for green?
Yep. Gerard says Torch Fiend or the rest of your cards. I would think that it would be the other way around. It'd be Fairy Invaders or the rest of your cards. But I don't think Gerard can...
Yeah, I think Gerard's just packing it in and just giving him whatever. I can't imagine a card in this set right now that would save Gerard.
Planner Cleansing would not do it.
Yeah, he has no cards left in his deck.
Planner Cleansing would be good, not great.
He still decks himself.
Yeah.
It's like, and deck myself.
Planner Cleansing, Elixir of Immortality.
There you go. It's true. That is a pretty sweet combo, and Gerard's going to lose game 1. David Brink's going to take down game 1 quite handily with what looks like a pretty awesome deck.
Yep. There you get a good look at David Brink.
What do you think about Jason's Phantasm? I haven't played that too often.
I think it's better in sealed than it is in draft.
Okay.
Because some of the sealed games go long. And in draft, I don't think I'm picking it very highly at all, but it seems awesome David Brink's deck when he actually has Jace, right?
Yeah, I think I've only played it in draft when I have like a bunch of Mog Funkies.
Sure.
Of course, I just want a guy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mog Funky is probably one of the better red commons, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
One of the best red creatures, too. So.
What have you had most success with in this format?
In sealed, from what I've played and what I've heard from others, black-white is one of the best color combinations. Okay. Some of the worst ones are things like maybe blue-red, but David Brink's blue-red deck seems
pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah. Again, it's dependent on what you open, but
Yeah, Gerard looks like he's making a major change because I saw him shuffling up a Silk Lash Spider.
yeah, it looks like he's boarding into a heavy green deck. Maybe he realized that the black-white build was not the best one during his 2 buys. Came up with another way of building his deck.
And that's something you'll see a lot in these Grand Prix. After a while, you can talk to your friends, ask them what you messed up on. You registered your deck already, but you know in game 2 and 3 what you could do to improve your deck.
Yeah, that's how it works. You get to sit down alone with your deck, and you register your 40-card deck. But when you're done, you can talk to your friends. And for games 2 and 3, you can board into, perhaps your friend's John Finkel.
Yeah.
John Finkel says, "Yo, Gerard, you should be playing green. It's not close."
Gerard's like,
Gerard's
yeah,
like, okay,
yeah.
Mr. Finkel.
I think you know a little thing.
So for games 2 and 3, maybe you've got a better deck.
You have to still start your original deck, but
Yeah. And you can't build that one with your friends, but
yeah.
that's something you see commonly at Grand Prix and PTQs.
And a lot of these pools can be real tough. Sometimes it's only a couple cards off. In times like Gerard, maybe it's like a whole color
Yeah.
off, where the cards were close, but you should have gone the other way maybe. Or maybe he's boarding in because there's a lot of flyers. It's like,
Sure.
This is better against flyers. You're going to get things like Plummet and Silk Lash Spider in Gerard's case.
So it looks like the players are off to game 2. Players are looking at their opening hands. Looks like David's going to take a quick mulligan.
It looks like Gerard got rid of the white. I still see the red, and I still see, I think the black.
I believe I still see the black.
Yeah. David going down to 6 here. So are you drawing mostly in this format?
So there's a little interesting sub-game that's going on. I think that drawing's correct most of the time, but against the black-white decks, since they've exalted and they're a little quicker, you want to play first so they can't play first.
Okay.
So maybe game 1, you want to play first because black-white's a pretty popular color combination, and then once you know what they're playing, maybe start drawing first if you've got a little slower of a deck. But
yeah, Gerard leads off with Arbor Elf, David Brink with Jace Phantasm. His hand also has Thragtusk and Divination, and I believe that's Evolving Wilds.
so maybe he's splashing the green for the Thragtusk and maybe one other card. Jace's Phantasm will get it for 1. Interesting that Gerard didn't have a turn 2 play with the 3 mana available to him, but turn 4 he's going to go ahead and cast the Bats. A little functional reprint of Blind Hunter from Ravnica.
Yeah, and Gerard's hand has the Silk Lash Spider I mentioned earlier. A lot better start, obviously, this time around. I always get confused with Evolving Wilds and Cathedral.
Yeah,
the
Cathedral of War.
Yeah, Cathedral of War. Those lands always look so similar to me. And David picked up a Unsummon this turn on his draw step. It looks like, or it might have been hidden earlier.
I'm not sure what's going on.
Did he draw? I think did he draw already or something? I'm not sure what's going on either.
I think this is just end of turn. He's cracking the Evolving Wilds. So yeah, now David will untap, draw an island.
So his hand is Island, Negates,
Thragtusk, Unsummon,
and
Mountain,
2 mountains. Thragtusk is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, 5/3 comes back as a 3/3, and you gain 5 life. I don't know how you get too much better than that.
Yeah, Gerard misses his land drop here, still able to play a 4-drop.
Krenko's Command for David Brink. It's weird that Krenko's Command, once it's been shifted to red, how much different of a card it is from something like Raise the Alarm when it was in white. It also works with some of the other Goblin cards, Arms Dealer, for instance.
One of the cards I'm very happy to open up.
Yeah, Arms Dealer is a good card. Silk Lash Spider comes down for Gerard, and he'll get in. Hopefully for 5. Let's see if David wants to chump off one of his Goblin tokens. It looks like that's what he'll do.
Yep, go ahead.
Dropping David to 14 life. And David will slam down that Thragtusk, bring him back up to 19, adding a 5/3 to the board that Gerard's going to have not too much trouble with because he's got the Silk Lash Spider, but He can bounce off of it all day.
Now let's see here. Yeah, Gerard can't make out what he drew this turn. Still could get in with his flyer. I mean, he might be considering still coming in with his 3-3 and get it off the Thragtusk now.
I don't think you want to do that. Trading one of your premium 4-drops for pretty much nothing. David will still get a 3-3 out of the exchange. I mean, I think what David's going to do next turn is probably unsummon his own Thragtusk, get a 3-3, play Thragtusk again.
And he also has Fairy Invaders in his hand, too. So he has a lot of options.
Fairy Invader's not as good because of Silklash Spider, but...
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Drew a blank on a second on Silklash's ability.
Mark of the Vampire on the Dusk Hunter Bats. Looks like David's going to block with the Jace's Phantasm. Gerard's going to go ahead and gain 4.
Now that Mark of the Vampire is going to be real good because Silklash will be able to get rid of Fairy Invaders when keeping his guy alive, or almost any other flyer that David could really play, other than his Sphinx, of course.
But little does Gerard know that David has that unsummon in his hand that can knock off the Mark of the Vampire. I mean, sure, David takes another 2, and Gerard gains another 2 when the bats come back into play, but that enchantment will no longer be there.
David Hand looks really solid now. He has Torch Fiend, the Fairy Invaders, the Negate, and of course the Unsummon we keep been talking about.
Unsummon's another card that's, I believe, better than it has been in previous core set limited formats. People are picking it almost as close to as a removal spell in blue.
Yeah, like real removal spell, people are taking Unsummon at that point.
So David here mulling over his options. What does he want to do? He could make the aforementioned Thragtusk play where he bounces on Thragtusk, plays again. He could hold up Fairy Invaders, which looks like he's doing, holding up Fairy Invaders and Unsummon. Gerard's going to get in with his Dusk Hunter Bats.
It looks like Unsummon's going to be the choice.
Does Gerard have something to say about that?
I don't think there's anything in green-black that could really prevent that happening.
I guess Autumn Veil would have been a card in M10 or M11. But yeah, Gerard will just replay the Dusk Hunter Bats. David will go down to 17.
Drain here.
Does David even want to play the Fairy Invaders? Like, Gerard has that Silklash Spider just sitting there. Well, looks like he
figures
will.
Like, he can't use it right away, I could get in an attack.
But he can, because if he attacks with Fairy Invaders, he blocks the Silklash Spider and then deals 1 to all creatures with flying.
Yeah.
And then Fairy Invaders will be dead.
Maybe he just knows he doesn't have any way to deal with Silklash Spider, and I can't think of a good reason.
I mean, it makes it awkward with the Dusk Hunter Bats, right? Because he can't attack with Dusk Hunter Bats, and he can't activate Silklash Spider without losing his Dusk Hunter Bats. Gerard, that is. But we're getting this sort of board stall in this game where...
Seems to happen a lot when Silklash Spider comes along.
With
he
a
could hold
2/7?
Yeah, he could hold the ground pretty well, and obviously the air.
So Prey Upon for Gerard. That's going to get negated.
So Gerard was going to try to keep his bats by Prey Uponing with Silklash Spider and then using his ability for just 1. That's not going to happen.
And 2/2 only.
Yep, doesn't get that bonus without the mountain. But we know Gerard's playing some mountains in his deck, somewhere in there.
But hasn't drawn one either of the 2 games. Yep, draw go from David.
All right, so here comes Gerard.
Interesting, David wants to trade off the token and the Torch Fiend for Gerard's 3/3, and not the Thragtusk.
I'd be pretty satisfied with that if I was Gerard.
Looks like David drew a Wild Guess, so he's going to go ahead and cast that, discarding a freshly drawn island.
What do you feel about Wild Guess?
I think that card's really good. It's an effect that red normally doesn't have, and it's pretty powerful.
David just drew a switcheroo. It's not going to look good for Gerard.
Yeah, switcheroo.
Let's see what he picks.
For your Silklash Spider.
Gerard has to use that ability now, right?
I think so. That Fairy Invaders is going to be trouble. Gerard's not happy about this exchange. Looks like he's going to use it for 2, 3, 4.
Kill the flyers.
All right. Kills all the flyers.
Switcheroo.
Then
I thought Gerard might try to reach for Thragtusk. Like, you meant Thragtusk, right? Give me some hope.
Thragtusk will come into the red zone.
You trade off your 2 1-drops?
It's really tough.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Gerard's at 26 life. Like, maybe you just want to take it and see if you can get to a better place. Because David still gets the 3-3.
Yeah.
And all you have to block now is that 2-2. Like,
So Gerard.
peeling off that top card.
I really like having Switcheroo in the set rather than a Mind Control effect, because Mind Control was just way too good. Switcheroo is a little more balanced. It's still awesome, but Mind Control is just way more annoying.
Blade Tusk Boar off the top for David. He's going to get in with his Beast token.
Yeah, holding back his Spider.
23. Yep.
Just
I
not
mean, that
too-
kind of makes sense.
yeah.
There's the -1/-1 to all creatures card
Okay.
that Gerard could play, and then I guess that still wouldn't kill anything.
Gerard would have to use multiple cards to get there.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Turn to Slag.
Jeez. Attack in for 6, 7, 8.
8 damage coming here.
Put you down to 15.
15. Yep.
So what
Gerard-
kind of cards can Gerard draw?
I'm not sure.
Something like a Mutilate? No.
Mutilate, you need to have a swamp and a mutilate. Oh, no, he's got 3 swamps, but still. Sentinel Spider. The
Probably-
green Sarah Angel, as I've heard it.
Yep, best green
Been referred
common.
And Elixir of Immortality. Looks like he didn't want to.
He's not going to get Jaced out this
Yeah.
game.
Didn't
I
want
don't
to
know
lose to
that- Yeah, I
Jace.
don't think that'll be the problem, though.
Welcome turn. Your turn.
Boar's still coming through.
12. Go.
And I'll start chipping off at Gerard's life total. I mean, Gerard still has cards in his hand. David's out of cards, so he's playing off the top of his deck. You've got to expect that Gerard has something. I mean, likely one of those cards is a red spell that Gerard has not gotten access to his mountain to be able to cast. But it's not like he, has nothing to play with.
Yeah, it looks like it was at 3 or 4 cards in Gerard's hand right now. He's going to take a peek at David's graveyard. Does matter. He does have things like the Archaeomancer.
I mean, Gerard also has Rise from the Grave in
Yeah,
his deck.
and Rise to Grave.
So it's definitely possible that he drew that. And if he Rise from Graves, chases Phantasm, I believe there's over 10 cards in David Brink's graveyard, so.
Maybe he's considering Thragtusk too. It's like,
Thragtusk
Thragtusk isn't too bad.
Probably better. Especially, especially because the Jace's Phantasm can't get through the Silklodge Spider without some help.
And if David happens to be playing one more forest, that'll be real awkward.
Yeah. There you get a good look at Gerard Fabiano, thinking over his options.
Here, 3, 4, and it looks like it's Rise.
What is Gerard going to take?
Gerard wants nothing to do with his graveyard.
Yeah, his graveyard has nothing of value. Dusk Hunter Bats, which can't really get him very far.
So the choices really is Jace's Phantasm and Thragtusk. I don't believe anything else is as interesting as those cards.
Yeah.
There's a Fairy Invader, there's a Welcome Turn. Probably leaning towards Thragtusk here.
The good thing about Fairy Invaders or Chase's Phantasm is that you can block that Welcome Turn or like hold it off.
Oh, he's taking Torch Fiend.
Wow, that's an interesting pick.
All right, so he's taking. I don't know why you take Torch
To
Fiend.
be able to block the
trade
Blade
off with
Tusk
the
Boar.
door. Okay.
I'm not exactly sure how
This
Rise
is-
from the Grade worded. Isn't
I
it
thought-
black?
Yeah, I thought it makes your guy black.
Do we know if it makes it black red or not? Do we?
We'll double check if it comes.
Oh, Sphinx off the top for David.
Yeah, that's
Back to back hits on David's side.
And he has a Sands of Delirium in his deck. I kind of like David's deck.
It's an additional color with Rise from the Grade, so Gerard can block with that Torch Fiend on the Blade Tusk Board, but Fact or Fiction, wasn't one of the best cards ever printed for no good reason. So it looks like Gerard's going to make it Sands or Magma Quake and 3 lands.
Magma Quake, Sands of Delirium, the Sphinx, and Jace. David's deck looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too upset if I opened that one up.
Looks like David goes ahead and takes the 4 cards instead.
The simple fact of fiction rule, right? Just grab the bigger pile.
I don't think that's normally how it works, but yeah, Gerard's going to block off with a Torch Fiend to kill the Blade Tusk Boar, but he's now got a 5/5 flyer to deal with. Sentinel Spider not able to deal with that guy. Gerard slow rolling himself, peeling that last card. Can't quite get a good look at it.
That switcheroo made all the difference here.
Yeah, if Gerard still had that Silklash Spider, he'd be in a pretty good spot, but
Gerard just passing.
oof. Gerard needs that murder here to be able to take out the Sphinx.
And David has that Magma Quake that will get rid of the Sentinel Spider, even if Gerard has some tricks up his sleeve.
I mean, it's possible that David might want a Magma Quake for 4 to be able to get in that Welkin turn, because that would be 7 points of damage. Gerard would go to 1 life, and then be dead on the following turn because of Elixir of Immortality. Oh, but Gerard has Titanic Growth for the Sentinel Spider. And he's going to be able to block the Sphinx and trade off with it. So Gerard goes to 8 life from 4 from Magma Quake.
It's only. Is it
Oh no,
it's only
you're
creatures.
right.
Only non-flying creatures and planeswalkers. So Gerard's fine with that end. He's going to shuffle in his library with his elixir.
This is an end of David's turn, right?
Yeah, this all end of turn. As bad as it could have been for Gerard, he's making a game out of it.
Yeah, he's gained quite a bit of life this game. Still at 17.
So looking at Silklash Spider and the Welkin turn, he doesn't have anything on his side, but given all the cards that we've seen from David's side, could be a lot worse. The Titanic Growth and being able to dodge not only the Magma Quake, but also trade off with the Sphinx was huge.
I think Gerard's looking for a mountain to be able to cast that Searing Spear in his hand. Looks like he did draw something good. 4 mana, Hump Beast.
So that last turn, David really, all he had to do is let Gerard block. And that could have been so much better for him.
Yeah.
Just let Gerard block. Let's see. We'll shimmy inspect. Oh.
Dusk Hunter Bats.
Gerard's gained so much life this game.
And now has a block for that Welkin turn. David, stopped drawing hits. Has drawn a couple of lands in a row, giving Gerard some breathing room. Gerard's going to get in.
He's going to have, does he have it? Oh.
Titanic Growth again from the shuffle back. Boom, take out.
Gerard
That's my Silklash Spider.
And he's going to draw the Rise to the Grave soon? We know how this is going.
Another land for David.
David just blanking off. Accidentally drops a land, but let's put it in play.
Oh, there's that mountain for Gerard.
Oh, and he has a Searing Spear that's been sitting in his hand all game. Oh,
5
I thought
mana.
it was a Searing Spear.
Oh, no. He gets to look at David's hand of all lands, not able to steal an instant or sorcery from it.
If you're Gerard, do you come in with your bets? You just saw his hand, so you're in control.
Maybe. I mean, what's the hurry?
Maybe
I wonder if it changes his clock. It changes it by a turn, but he can attack at any point.
Or he probably has a different way. Oh, if he draws the Silklash Spider, he could get rid of the Welkin turn and then keep his guy.
Or the Rise from Grave, you mean?
Yeah, the Rise from Grave, rather, yeah. Gerard.
Searing Spear on the Welkin turn. Now I'll attack in.
For 7. David needs to draw. I don't know. I think we've seen all his good cards.
He drew Windrake.
So Windrake.
Wouldn't you want
rummage for something?
Rummage before you cast that Windrake? Well, Archaeomancer, that will get back turn to Slag maybe.
But he's short a mana. Did he play a land this turn?
Get back Magma Quake. It's not too good. I don't think he's played a land this turn, though. Switcheroo. The old switcheroo. Now it looks like he'll get Magma Quake. If he plays land, he can wipe the board of everything but a flyer.
A lot of back and forth happening in this game here.
Yeah. Awesome game to watch here.
You didn't play land already, right? No, I didn't. 'Cause I had 3 mountains in hand. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I don't know if there was a better card left in David's deck that he could have drawn.
Then the Archaeomancer.
Yeah.
Go.
Jace is the best card left in his deck, but wouldn't
Yeah.
have better. I don't think it's better than Archaeomancer at that point.
I don't think so.
So 5 mana untapped for David, it looks like, right?
And he's got the Magma Quake in hand
Magma Quake.
that Gerard knows about. So yeah, Magma Quake will get rid of all of the ground creatures,
Go ahead.
leaving just a pair of 2/2 flyers on the table. And it looks like a Fairy Invaders.
Okay. It's David's turn to start drawing some goods. Now, do you think he comes in with the bats? Because Gerard has to be thinking, David's at 5. Why did he come in with his 2/2?
Sure. Looks like Gerard just came to that conclusion.
Yeah, there you go.
Play land go. Knows that Fairy Invaders is there. Doesn't want to fall for it like he did in game 1. Ooh, and another hit off the top of Rummaging Goblin for David Brink.
5.
All right.
Yep.
Gerard makes a trade. I don't know if you would do that trade for Gerard. I thought he had multiple spears in his deck. Let's try to squeeze
sure.
in one more and then hope to get that spear and finish him off. And he has Titanic Growths in his deck?
Well, he's already. I think he only has 1 Titanic Growth, and he's already cast it.
Okay, but he still had the spear. And with the way things are going.
No, the spear he cast on the welcome turn. If he only had 1 spear.
Yeah, I thought I saw 2 when he was shuffling.
David is out of cards in his deck. He just drew the last card in his deck, and it was Jace.
Oh, and David gets decked right there. We totally just missed out that he was about to
Yeah,
deck himself.
Couldn't quite see the thickness of his deck.
Yeah, you kind of forget about the deck when no one is going for that kill.
Yeah.
But the games went so long that.
And Gerard was able to shuffle back his graveyard with Elixir of Immortality.
So, hello everyone just joining us. It's Ray Punzazalan. And
I'm Ben Swartz.
And Ben Swartz. We'll fix that a bit.
When did your name get another ZA?
I think it's cooler. It's for flavor.
Punzazala. There, Punazalan.
Well, we're going to get it right eventually. But if you're just joining us, it's Ray Punzalan over here and Ben Swartz at Grand Prix Boston.
I'm at @the_BenSW on Twitter. Ray is
at Ray the Stud on Twitter. Feel free to follow us. And at GG's Live, of course. We'll be posting updates throughout the day, let you know if you step away when we're going live again.
And if you have any questions, you can tweet at us and at GG's Live, and we'll try to answer them for you on air.
We are at round 3. Both of these players, Gerard and David, had 2 buys going on. If you just joined us, you missed a pretty exciting game, too. It was a lot of back and forth where we just missed that David was about to deck himself.
Yeah.
Last card in his deck was Jace, and Gerard was able to tie it up. He did a little switcheroo of his own, switching his deck from white to bringing in his green cards. Silk Lash Spider a little better against David's Flyers, and looked like that worked out well for Gerard. Brought in an Elixir, too, to combat all David's milling, who has Sands of Delirium, Jace, and I guess that's all you really need.
Yeah, I mean, both of those cards can win the game on their own. You don't really need a milling theme to make those cards good.
Didn't look like David touched his sideboard too often. Look at that, stone face there. Kind of wondering what happened that game.
Yeah. Trying to
Everything looked so good.
Figure out where he came up short.
Is Gerard. Crowd forming him behind him.
I believe Gerard's a professional salsa dancer. Is that right?
Yeah, he does a lot of salsa dancing on the side. You can catch him on probably at Gerard Fabiano. I don't know what his Twitter is actually.
His Twitter is at GFabs5.
There you go. You can follow him as well. I don't know David's Twitter offhand. You can find all Gerard's salsa dancing on his Twitter. Or at least what tournaments he's going to be to. All right, Gerard just about to present. Didn't look like he made any major changes to his deck.
I think he switched out a couple cards, but no major changes.
Nothing like the big switch of colors like he did between game 1 and 2. Gerard accidentally flips over a card. No big deal here. Give it a good shuffle. So that game, did Gerard end up playing?
I believe
Yeah, he did. He played because he led with Arbor Elf, right?
Oh, yeah,
And
that's
then
right, that's right.
Oh, no, wait, or did his opponent lead with... Yeah. He led with Arbor Elf, and then David went with his Phantasm.
Looks like David draws up his 7-card hand. Looks like it's good enough. It's got lands and spells.
Not mulliganing this time. Gerard always draws his red card.
And not his mountain. Looks like he'll take a quick mulligan.
Gerard's one to always peek at top. There's
Yeah.
some players that will never look.
I
Gerard's
never
one
look.
that will always look. He has to know. That's something I always
But
notice.
it's
when he
interesting
doesn't
because
play.
Gerard rarely mulligans. I don't know.
There's probably 0 lands then. There's a breaking point for everyone.
Yeah.
0 lands is Gerard's breaking point.
Usually he'll keep all lands, though.
7, sure. I've got to be drawing 7 spells in a row.
You don't even need to be drawing 7 spells in a row. We're getting word from Rashad Miller, GG's live director. Dusk Hunter bats? Blood Hunter bats. Okay.
Blood
Blood
Okay.
Hunter
makes
bats.
much more sense with, with bats.
No Arbor Elf or 1-drops for either side this time. David with double mountain, and Gerard misses.
Ooh, keeps a 1-lander on his 6-card hand.
Rummaging Goblin go.
A Rummaging Goblin for David.
Yeah, and Gerard draws a Sign in Blood.
And he'll start to discard. Ooh, looks like Blade Tusk Boar for David. This might be a quick game if Gerard doesn't draw another land.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure how Gerard's hand's looking right now. He draws a Shimmy Inspector. Yeah, this is just not going to look good. It's unfortunate after having such an exciting game, too, that it's going to go this way. There's not too many cards that could get him out of it now. He could draw his mountain, shoot down the boar, and then something else.
A second Rummaging Goblin for David.
Yeah, and Gerard misses again.
How many turns is that in a row? That's really unlucky for Gerard. You think he'd at least draw 1 land. He's got a number of 2-drops in his hand.
Like I said, his breaking point 0 land, so.
Yeah.
He kept the 1-lander, and he misses again, draws a murder this time around.
How does that happen? That's mathematically impossible, right?
Yep. Just impossible.
We broke the laws of physics here in round 3 of the Grand Prix.
Gerard following quickly, misses a land drop again. And David just walking in easily. Gerard at 1 life. And
That's
misses
it.
a land.
Sorry.
Well, congratulations to David. Unfortunately, we couldn't bring you an exciting game 3. Nothing we could do about that, but at least round 2 is a good watch. You're going to watch our videos
Game 2,
later.
yeah.
Yeah, game 2 rather was a good watch between them two. Gerard with 2 buys though. He's still at 2-1. His deck looked like it could be pretty strong.
David Brink, ladies and gentlemen.
David Brink's deck looked awesome. Lots of sweet rares. In sealed, a lot of people were saying